Summit4 lifestyle. So it's all about the fact that for every staff member, the feet on street, we end up giving them a proper training on what do we mean by meet, what do we mean by greet, what do we mean by direct. And in any of these three things, we are not talking of sale. Yet, at a point of time, each store, eventually each department has a budget which they need to achieve through these three means. You're not allowed to upsell, yet you are trying to measure the customer. You have mystery audit scores, you have different set of parametrics by which you're trying to understand whether the customer is getting satisfied in whatever way it's being measured. But the first is the underlying corporate principle about what do we want to do. The second is enabling the same through the HR and the training systems to ensure the same messaging is pushed down. And the third part of it is the measurement, which we keep on doing through the mystery audit scores to ensure whether whatever we have put on the ground, is it working, not working. If it is not working, you again need to get back people on the drawing board and keep on this activity to ensure the standards are up. Did I answer?
Yeah, what I understand is we are looking in India more and more into this taking care of employees, about their trainings and so forth, because I think everybody or people are realizing, whoever is in charge, that it's actually about employees and taking care of their trainings, of course transfer the vision of the company and so forth. So this is what I can see, and I'm doing some trainings as such. So, and the frequency being asked is more and more, or is higher. So, and I just wanted to know, so where is the source, from the perspective, because, and when I have my team, I'm not better than my team, so I have to take care of my team. And I think every company or corporate has to be like that. I think this is our strength, because we are not a one-man army.
Yeah.
So thanks, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to add on to this.
Please, I'm looking forward.
So I believe a customer journey begins from the lead line, right from the moment the customer enters the shop, and how has a customer been invited into the shop. That's a very important aspect of customers' entry into the store. And then the next step is welcome and approach, how brightly and how nicely the customer is greeted into the store. And the third step I would say is then taking the customer around the store and understand and giving the customer some time for the advisor to understand, also for the customer to give us some time to understand why he or she has come into the store. So understanding the customer needs and offering a consultation to understand the need of the customer. And while you do the consultation, demonstrating the apparel, demonstrating the skincare or makeup, it's a very relevant step which helps customer understand and also take a decision on whether if the product suits the customers or is it what that the customer had come for in the store. And then finally offering a choice to the customer. Giving a customer a choice, letting customer decide between the various options available in the store, which one would fit well. And then finally it would come down to loyalizing and then closing the sale.
So it's about training.
And loyalizing.
It's about training, right? So you train people how to read and so forth.
Yeah, so it's
that's what I can feel as well. So it's about body shop, right? So whenever I'm passing by there, so of course it's a different experience. Like IKEA, somebody mentioned IKEA, so which is upcoming here in India very soon, by the way. And I think it's about that, because we have to train people. It's not naturally usually. Some people have it as a gift and some people not. Okay, great.
I would like to quote the example of Domino's. Domino's, which is a market leader in India. The pizza was something not a very popular dish where every Indian wanted to have. When pizza was introduced in India, probably the Indians couldn't afford, the middle class society couldn't afford to have pizzas. But today Domino's is what Domino's, the way they have turned around with the product, the way it has made every customer, every customer can go to a Domino's store and can have a pizza. So that's how, you transform the entire market.
One more thing to add. Sir, I'll come back to you. One more thing to add to it. I mean, the question which I have understood in a way, it was about, I'll try to connect both the questions, like, internal customer and external customer for a company. Like the employees, they are the internal customers, and the end users who will be purchasing their product, they are the external customers. So the thought process is, until unless the employee of the company are not taken care of, they will take care of their customer is difficult. It is difficult to be, thought of, right? So in order to take care of the employees within the company, a company essentially has to take care of their T&D, as everybody has talked about, training and development. Number one. Number two, they have to be very, very carefully design his career growth also. Like if the employee should be very, very certain of, if he works in this company for 10 years, what will he be after 10 years? And lastly, of course, the money. Right. So these three things are imperative to keep the internal customers happy. And as far as external customers are concerned, their experience, like Shiki has mentioned it very, very correctly, that how have they been informed that we are here to serve you, and when they are entering, how they are met and greeted, and then what was their experience in assortments, selection of the products, trials, and finally the billing part of it. I am talking in the sense of retail industry only right now at the moment, and of course, and then it will be totally depending on the company, retail company, which product they have kept into the display, so as to ensure that the needs or the wants of the customer with which they are entering into the store, it should be fulfilled at the end of the day. That, like I was mentioning, there are two challenges one a retailer will have. One is the experience of the showroom, and the second is experience of the product. So that is how a company ideally should take care of their internal customer and the external customers. Thank you.
So to answer one more addition to your answer, there are two sources. The first source is a lease line. The second source starts after the billing, when you start loyalizing the customer. And this is there, and you build the real customers who come back to shop with you again.
Doing fans.
Yeah, fans.
Fan
Club, yeah.
Can we take another question?
Yeah, partly my question was, as Mr. Iyer has said, we all know, if employees start feeling the place of work as a place of entertainment, he or she won't be productive. The major question is, what step the company should take so that she starts thinking that this is a place of enjoyment. I think the question is to the HR department mainly. Place of entertainment.
Place of entertainment.
Yeah. Unless and until that is the feeling of the internal customer, so-called the employee, he cannot deliver to the external customer who comes to the shop for purchase.
Yes. It's a combination of, again, both. When I have a product which is a very trustworthy product, customer is satisfied, then definitely it will come back. In that, the experience adds the flavor, because if I have a good experience, definitely, I will always go back and I will always use that back. So when you're talking about how to keep the internal customers motivated, it's very important nowadays. Every company you talk about, they are always emphasizing on how to create the fun work culture, because that is something. Because this is the era, the kind of stress people are going through. How do we really ensure that the person is really enjoying? The person has a good blend of work-life balance in that case. So therefore, companies are really investing on people's how to create that kind of work culture where the traditional method of hierarchical approaches are being taken off from the companies. It's become a more friendly kind of approaches the companies are adopting in their organization. Because people doesn't leave the company, people leave their managers. And if my manager behaves with me properly, I love my job. So in that case, how do I have every employee who can have the right set of culture? So setting the right culture in the organization is very important. That is, which is again from top to bottom. So when the right from top leadership to the bottom leadership understand what is our agenda, what exactly the company looks for, and if everyone is the same set in the same platform, and that's how they work as a team, they go ahead as a team.
Mr. Gupta.
Thank you, madam. Can you share a couple of the parameters?
So let me just add to what she has said. It's not the question that you grade workplace as the place of entertainment for employees. To me, it is a combination. You have to create a workplace with the sportsmanship. So in a game, you have entertainment and you have to win the goal as well. So if there is only entertainment, it will not work, particularly for the business purposes. So you have to create an environment of entertainment and achievement, like you will create for a football player, that you have to play, enjoy, and also you have to hit the goal. So both of these together will basically be success of the organization. And how do you do this? I mean, in a similar fashion, how do you do this is, first, what you expect from the employee, that should be clear to you. And second is that it should be clear to employee what is expected from him. And train him in that realm. What I find basically in the service industry is, most of the employees, they know the broad concepts that, customers satisfaction, customers entertainment, everything. But they don't know which way a customer will get entertained. And one of the ways is that in a retail environment, for example, set them as a customer and ask them that what did you expect from that retail experience? And that is what which you have to provide to the customers when he comes to you. So that is also one of the things which has worked successfully. In the airline scenario also, air hostesses are made to travel in the plane as a passenger, so that they can just identify what is the requirement of a passenger for that environment, so that they can also act accordingly. So that is one thing which I have to add there.
No, my question was, suppose as an employee, if I go for a job, unless and until I have that type of feeling that this is not my job, this is the place of entertainment for me, I will be more productive for the organization. So what step you should take in that direction, what are the parameters that the employee should start feeling this job is for entertainment and I will be becoming more productive for the organization. It is not that I am going for some other things. I am going for a particular job.
You have asked
how I should enjoy doing that job.
You have
so
asked,
that I am more productive.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
You have asked a very broad question and at a time of lunch, and that to a person who is 100 kgs who is always hungry for lunch.
Sorry.
But I will answer your question in a simple manner. There is something called Maslow hierarchy. Yeah. So Maslow hierarchy for the success of life always works. So one has to follow the step of Maslow hierarchy, and employee will always be satisfied even if not entertained.
Yes.
So we have had really played a big role in disrupting the experience in retail and creating new models. And I'll give you an example. For example, it's a very well-known fact that when women go shopping, the husbands are literally screaming from inside. And there is one store, I don't remember the brand, but they really created a live wall which had games and everything. Do you think some of these practices should be there when you are saying the experiential and the changing the entire dimension and facets of retail?
And let me try to bring that as part of the shopping experience itself. For example, technology is very important for an offline retail in terms of the retail experience itself to the shopper. That's the first part of it. And let me try to give you an example. So when you walk into, for example, we have about 60 lifestyle stores across the country. Now, however, you as a consumer, when you walk into one particular shop and you look at one particular product, be a kurta or whatever it may be, and you wear a size XL or an L, and if you like the product, but you do not find your size, for me it is a lost sale. So now we need to first identify how much of quantity do we need to store, because you can't keep a huge stock. Yet the second part of it is also called as replenishment. How do we replenish early to ensure that if I have a lost size and that size is sitting in, let's say, a different shop or a warehouse, it can get replenished back. So technology is used very heavily into this. The second part of technology also is in terms of customer need, understanding, loyalty. So I'm not going to get into all of that. The point which you talked about was more about the co-shopper. From that perspective, a lot of places abroad and even in India, some of the places, they offer a free Wi-Fi. That is also about something which is a live wall or something where you have a smartphone and you can use on. So I think, However, the retailers are in two minds because sometimes it's a loss of productive space versus what you're trying to do. Because if you look at, let's say, a lifestyle, which earlier used to typically have a coffee shop within their own premises, and if you see it today, over the last 3-year period, we managed to phase that out because that's a lost space, a prime space which I'm not able to earn, and I'm not really able to do too much. While from a consumer, your perspective, if you probably had gone in with, let's say, your husband and your kid wanted to have a cake and a coffee, it was far more easier. But then you decide to move out of that. So somewhere I think it's a trade-off which is there. The third side to it is the fact that most of these places, because large, and if I'm talking about lifestyle, we typically tend to be within a mall. So if you are looking at an entertainment, it is right outside the store in the mall, so you need not utilize your own space to do that. But things like a Wi-Fi, which are again possibly something which is being done, though we don't do it, and maybe we may end up doing it down the line. I can't talk about it today. But these are things which is there for the future. And even further experiential things that you like a product, you don't have it, you can order it online, sitting right from the store through a channel and use an omni-channel experience. That's different. That's again a customer enhancement and use of technology. So those are the areas where I think a lot of work is happening, and you will see results coming on very fast. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We want to be able to do another question, and good question now, because time isn't permitting. You can ask the individual panelists. They are here around. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thanks all.
Felicitate our worthy panelists. Two round of applause, please. This is Siddharth.
I'm Shiva.